Scene 2. It is the following morning, a Saturday morning, and the house cleaning is in process at the Youngers. Furniture has been shoved and Young and Mama is giving the kitchen area walls a washing down. Shra in darglis with a handkerchief tied around her face is spraying aside into the cracks in the walls. As they work, the radio is on and a Southside Disc Journey program is inappropriately fulfilling the house with a rather exotic saxophone blues. Travis, the sole ideal one, is leaning on his arms, looking out of the window. Grandma, that stuff Benny is using smells awful. Can I go downstairs, please? Did you get all of them clothes done already? I ain't seen you doing much. Yes'm. Finished early. Where did Mama go this morning? Looking at Benitra. She had to go on a little errand. The phone rings. Benitra runs to answer it and reaches it before Walter, who has entered from bedroom. Where? To tend her business. Heyo. Disappointed. Yes, he is. She tosses the phone to Walter, who barely catches it. It's Willie Harris again. As privately as possible under Mama's gaze. Hello, Willie. Did you get the papers from the lawyer? No, not yet. I told you the mailman doesn't get here till 10:30. No. I'll come there. Yeah, right away. He hangs up and goes for his coat. Brother, where did Ruth go? As he exits. How should I know? Aw, come on, Grandma. Can I go outside? Oh, I guess so. You stay right in front of the house, though, and keep a good lookout for the postman. Yes'm. He darts into the bedroom for a stickball and bat, returns and sees Benitra on her knees, spraying under sofa with behind up the rays. He edges closer to the target, takes aim, and lets her have it. She screams. Leave the poor little cockroaches alone. They ain't bothering you none. He runs as she swings and sprays gun at him, viciously and playfully. Grandma, Grandma! Look out there, girl, before you be spilling some of that stuff on the child. Safely behind the bastion of Mama. That's right. Look out now. He exits. Dryly. I can't imagine that it would hurt him. It has never hurt the roaches. Well, little boys' hide ain't as tough as Southside's roaches. You better get over there behind the bureau. I seen one marching out of the little mullion yesterday. There's really only one way to get rid of him, Mama. How? Set fire to this building, Mama. Where did Ruth go? Looking at her with meaning. To the doctor, I think. The doctor? What's the matter? They exchange glances. You don't think. With her sense of drama. Now, I ain't saying what I think, but I ain't never been wrong about a woman either. The phone rings. At the phone. Ayo. Pause and a moment of recognition. Well, when did you get back? And how was it? Of course I've missed you. In my way. This morning? No. House cleaning and all that, and Mama hates it if I let people come over when the house is like this. You have? Well, that's different. What is it? Oh, what the hell? Come on over. Right. See you then. Arrivederci. She hangs up. As listen vigorously, as is her habit. Who is that you inviting over here with this house looking like this? You ain't got the pride you was born with. Getty. Joseph X. Getty. He's an African boy I met on campus. He's been studying in Canada all summer. What's his name? As Getty. Joseph. As Guy. He's from Nigeria. Oh, that's the little country that was founded by slaves way back. No, Mama. That's Liberia. I don't think I've ever met no African before. Well, do me a favor and don't ask him a whole lot of ignorant questions about Africans. I mean, do they wear clothes and all that? Well, now, I guess if you think we're so ignorant around here, maybe you shouldn't bring your friends here. It's just that people ask such crazy things. All everyone seems to know about when it comes to Africa is Tarzan. Well, Should I know anything about Africa? Why do you give money to church for the missionary work? Well, that's to help save people. You mean save them from heathenism? Yes. I'm afraid they need more salvation from the British and the French. Ruth comes in forlornly and pulls off her coat with digestion. They both turn to look at her. Well, I guess from all the happy faces everyone knows. You pregnant? Lord have mercy, I sure hope it's a little old girl. Travis ought to have a sister. Ida and Ruth give her a hopeless look for this grandmotherly enthusiasm. How far along are you? 2 months. Do you mean to? I mean, did you plan it, or was it an accident? What do you know about planning or not planning? Oh, Mama, wearily. She's 20 years old, Lena. Did you plan it, Ruth? Mind your own business. It is my business. Where is he going to live? On the roof? There is a silence following the remark as the three women react to the sense of it. I didn't mean it, Ruth. Honest. Yeah, I don't feel like that at all. I I think it's wonderful. Wonderful? Yes, really. There's a sudden commotion from the street, and she goes to the window to look out. What on earth is going on out there? These kids. There are, as she throws open the window. The shouts of the children rising up from the streets. She sticks her head out to see better and calls out, "Travis! Travis! What are you doing down there?" She sees. Oh, Lord, they're chasing a rat. Ruth covers her face with her hands and turns away. Angrily, "Tell that younger to get himself up here at once. Travis, you come upstairs at once." Her face twists, chasing a rat. Looking at Ruth, worried. "Doctor say everything's going to be all right?" "Yes. She says everything is going to be fine." "She? What doctor you went to?" Ruth just looks at Mama meaningfully, and Mama opens her mouth to speak as Travis bursts in, excited and full of narrative, coming directly to his mother. "Mama, you should have seen that rat. Big as a cat, honest." He shows an exaggerated size with his hands. Gee, that rat was really cutting. Barbara caught him with his heel, and the janitor, Mr. Bennet, got him with a stick, and then they got him in a corner, and bam, bam, bam! And he was still jumping around and bleeding like everything, too. There's rat blood all over the street. Ruth reaches out suddenly and grabs her son without even looking at him and clams her hand over his mouth and holds him to her. Mama crosses to them rapidly and takes the boy from her. "You hush up now, talking all that terrible stuff." Travis is staring at his mother with a sudden expression. Demetria comes quickly and takes him away from his grandmother and ushers him to the door. "You go back outside and play, but not with any rats." She pushes him gently out the door, with the boy straining to see what's wrong with his mother, Worley hovering over Ruth. "Ruth, honey, what's the matter with you? You sick?" Ruth has her fist clenched to her thighs and is fighting hard to suppress the scream that seems to be rising in her. "What's the matter with her, Mama?" Working her fingers in Ruth's shoulder to relax her. "She'll be all right." Women get right depressed sometimes when they get her way. Speaking softly, expertly, rapidly. "Now you just relax. That's right. Just lean back. Don't think about nothing at all. Nothing at all." "I'm all right." The glazy eyes looks melt, and she collapses into a fit of heavy sobbing. The bell rings. "Oh my God, that must be Agassi." To Ruth. "Come on now, honey. You need to lie down and rest a while. Then have some nice hot food." They exit. Ruth's weight on her mother-in-law Demetria, now profoundly disrupted, opens the door to attempt a rather dramatic-looking young man with a large package. "Hello, Elio," holding the door open and regarding him with pleasure. "Hello." Long pause. "Well, come in. And please excuse everything. My mother was very upset about me letting anyone come here with a place like this." coming into the room. You look disturbed, too. Is something wrong? Still at the door, absently. Yes, we've all got acute ghettoises. She smiles and comes towards him, finding a cigarette and sitting. So, sit down. No, wait. She wipes the spray gun off the sofa where she had left it and puts the cushions back. Glass perches her arm of sofa. He sits. So, how was Canada? Canadian. Looking at him. I gotta say, I'm very glad you're back. Looking at her in turn. Are you really? Yes, very. Why? You were quite glad when I went away. What happened? You went away. Ah, before you wanted to be so serious before there was time. How much time must there be before one knows what one feels? During this particular conversation, her hands pressed together in a deliberately child gesture. What did you bring me? Handing her the package. Open it and see. Eagerly opening the packaging and drawing out some records and a colorful robe of a Nigerian woman. Ah, Lassie, you got them for me? How beautiful. And the records too. She lifts out the robes and runs to the mirror with them and holds the drapery up in front of herself. Coming to her at the mirror, I shall have to teach you how to drape it properly. He flings the material over her for a moment and stands behind to look at her. Ah, Opega, Oglamashe, Eubora! Exclamation for admiration. You wear it well. Very well. Turning suddenly. My hair! What's wrong with my hair? Shrugging. Were you born with it like that? He just up to touch it. No, of course not. She looks back to the mirror, disturbed. How then? You know perfectly well how. As correctly as yours. That's how. And it is ugly to you that way. Oh, no, not ugly. But it's too hard to manage when it's, well, raw. And so to accommodate that you you mutilate it every week? It's not mutilation. Laughing out loud at her seriousness. Oh, please, I'm only teasing you because you are very serious about things. He stands back from her and folds his arms across his chest as he watches her pulling at her hair and frowning in the mirror. Do you remember the first time you met me at school? He laughs. You came up to me and you said, and I thought you were the most serious little thing I've ever seen, you said. He imitates her. Mr. Rossi, I want very much to talk with you about Africa, you see. Mr. Rossi, I'm looking for my identity. He laughs, turning to him, not laughing. Yes. Her face is quizzled, profoundly disturbed, still teasing and reaching out and taking her face in his hands and turning her profile to him. Well, it is true that this is not so much a profile of a Hollywood queen as perhaps a queen of the Nile, but what does it matter? I'm not an assimilationist. The protest hangs in the room for a moment, and Agassi studies her, his laughter fading. Such a serious one. There is a pause. So, you like the robes? You must take excellent care of them. They are my sister's personal wardrobe. You you sent all the way home for me? For you. I would do much more. Well, that is what I came for. I must go. Will you call me Monday? Yes. We have a great deal to talk about. I mean, about identity and time and all that. Time? Yes. About how much time one needs to know what one feels. You see, you never understood that there is more than one kind of feeling which can exist between a man and a woman, or at least there should be. Shaking his head negatively and gently, no. Between a man and a woman there needs be only one kind of feeling. I have that for you now even right this moment. I know. And by itself it won't do. I can find that anywhere. For a woman it should be enough. I know. Because that's what it says in all novels that men write, but it isn't. Go ahead and laugh, but I'm not interested in being someone's little episode in America or with feminine vagants. One of them. Agassi has burst into laughter again. That's funny as hell, huh? It's just that every American girl I've known has said that to me. White, black, in this you are all the same. And the same speech, too. Angrily. Yuck, yuck, yuck. It's how you can be sure that the world's most liberated women are not liberated at all. You can talk about it too much. Mama enters and is immediately all social calm because of the presence of the guests. Oh, Mama, this is Mr. Agassi. How do you do? Total politeness to an elder. How do you do, Miss Younger? Please forgive me for coming at such an outrageous hour on a Saturday. Well, you are quite welcome. I just hope you can understand that our house doesn't always look like this. Chatterish. You must come again. I would love to hear all about, not sure of the name, your country. I think it's so sad that the way our American don't know nothing about Africa, Tarzan and all the money they pour into these churches when they ought to be helping you people over there drive out them French and Englishmen done taken away your land. The mother flashes a slightly superior look at her daughter upon completion of the resection, taken aback by the sudden and acutely unrelated expression of sympathy. Yes, yes. Smiling at him and suddenly relaxing and looking over him. How many miles is it from here to where you come from? Many thousands. Looking at him as she would Walter. I bet you don't have look after yourself, being away from your mamma either. I expect you better come round here from time to time to get yourself some decent home-cooked meals. Moved. Thank you very much. They are all quiet. Then, well, I must go. I will call you Monday. Addio. What's that he called you? Oh, Alio? I hope you don't mind, but it is what you would call a nickname, I think. It is a Ubia word. I am a Ubia, looking at Benitria. I I thought he was from uncertain, understanding. Nigeria is my country. Yoruba is a tribal origin. You didn't tell us what Alio means. For all I know, you might be calling me a little idiot or something. Well, let me see. I do not know how just to explain it. The sense of a thing can be so difficult when it changes languages. You're evading. No, really, it is difficult. Thinking. It means, it means one for whom bread food is not enough. He looks at her. Is that all right? Understanding softly. Thank you. Looking from one to another and not understanding any of it. Well, that's nice. You must come see us again, Mr. Us guys guy. Yes, do come again. Goodbye. He exits after him. Lord, that's a pretty thing just went out here. Yes, I guess I see why you done commenced to get so interested in Africa around here. Missionaries, my Aunt Jenny. She exits. Oh, Mama. She picks up her Nigerian dress and holds it up to her in the front of the mirror again. She sets the headdress on haphazardly and then notices her hair again and clenches at it, and then replaces the headdress and frowns at herself, and then starts to wriggle in front of the mirror as she thinks a Nigerian woman might. Travis enters, stands regarding her. What's the matter, girl? You cracking up? Shut up. She pulls the headdress off and looks at herself in the mirror and clenches at her hair again and squishes her eyes as she trying to imagine something. Then suddenly she gets her raincoat and handkerchief and hurriedly prepares for going out. Coming back into the room. She's resting now. Travis, baby, Run next door and ask Mrs. Jenkins to please let me have a little kitchen cleanser. This here can is empty as Jacob's kettle. I just came in. Do as you told. He exits and she looks at her daughter. Where are you going? To become a queen of the Nile. She exits in a blazely blaze of glory. Ruth appears in the bedroom doorway. Who told you to get up? Ain't nothing wrong with me to be laying in no bed for. Where did Benny go? Far as I could make out, to Egypt. Ruth just looks at her. What time is it getting to? 10:20. And the mailman's going to ring that bell this morning just like he done every morning for the last up 10 years. Travis comes in with the cleansing can. She say to tell you that she don't have much, angrily. Lord, some people I can name sure is tensified, directing her grandson. Mark 2 cans of cleanser down on the list there. If she that hard up for kitchen cleanser, I sure don't want to forget her none. Lena, maybe that woman is just short on cleanser. Not listening. Much baking powder as she done borrow from me all those years. She could done gone into the baking business. The bell sounds suddenly and sharply, and all three are stunned, serious and silent, mid-speech. In spite of all the other conversations and discussions of the morning, this was what they have been waiting for. Even Travis, who looks helplessly from his mother to his grandmother, Ruth is the first to come to life again. Gee, Travis, get down them steps, boy. Travis snaps to life and flies out to get the mail. Her eyes wide, her hand to her breast. You mean it done really come? Excited. Oh, Mrs. Lena, collecting herself. Well, I don't know what we so excited about around here for. We known it was coming for months. That's a whole lot different from having it come and being able to hold it in your hands. A piece of paper worth $10,000. Travis bursts back into the room. He holds the envelope high above his head like a little dancer. His face is radiant and his breathless. He moves to his grandmother with sudden slow ceremony and puts the envelope into her hands. She accepts it and then merely holds it and looks at it. Come on, open it. Lord have mercy, I wish Walter Lee was here. Open it, Grandma. Staring at it. Now, you all be quiet. It's just a check. Open it. Still staring at it. Now, don't act silly. We ain't never been no people to act silly about no money. Swiftly. We ain't never had to none before. Open it. Mama finally makes a good strong tear and pulls out a thin blue slice of paper and inspects it closely. The boy and his mother study it rapidly over Mama's shoulders. Travis, she's counting off with doubt. Is that the right number of zeros? Yes'm. $10,000. Gee, Grandma, you're rich. She holds the check away from her, still looking at it. Slowly, her face sombers into a mask of unhappiness. $10,000. She hands it to Ruth. Put it away somewhere, Ruth. She does not look at Ruth. Her eyes seem to be seeing something somewhere very far off. $10,000 they give you. $10,000. To her mother, sincerely. What's the matter with Grandma? Don't she want to be rich? You go on and out and play now, baby. Travis exits. Mama starts ripping dishes absently, humming instantly to herself. Ruth turns to her with kind expiration. You gone and got yourself upset. Not looking at her. I expect if I wasn't for you all, I would just put that money away or give it to the church or something. Now what kind of talk is that? Mr. Younger would just be plain mad if he could hear you talking about foolish like that. Stopping and staring off. Yes, he sure would. Sighing. We got enough to do with that money, all right. She halts then and turns and looks at her daughter-in-law hard. Ruth avoids her eyes, and Mama whips out her hands and finally and starts to speak firmly to Ruth. Where did you go today, girl? To the doctor. Impatiently. Now, Ruth, you know better than that. Old Dr. Jones is strange enough in his way, but there ain't nothing 'bout him make somebody slip and call him she, like you done this morning. Well, that's what happened. My tongue slipped. You went to see that woman, didn't you? Defensively giving herself away. What woman you talking about? Angrily. That woman who... Walter enters in great excitement. Did it come? Quietly. Can't you give people a Christian greeting before you start asking about money? To Ruth. Did it come? Ruth unfolds the check and lays it quietly before him, watching him intently with thoughts of her own. Walter sits down and grasps it and closes and counts off the zeros. $10,000. He turns suddenly, frantically to his mother and draws some papers out of his breast pocket. Mama, look. Old Walter Harris put everything on paper. Son, I think you ought to talk to your wife. I'll go on out and leave you alone if you want. I can talk to her later, Mama. Look, son, will somebody please listen to me today? Quietly. I don't low on yelling in this house. Walter Lee, you know it. Walter stares at them in frustration and starts to speak several times. And there ain't going to be no investing in no liquor stores. But Mama, you ain't even looked at it. I don't aim to have to speak on that again. A long pause. You ain't looked at it, and you don't aim to have to speak on that again. You ain't even looked at it, and you have decided. Crumpling his papers. Will you tell that to my boy tonight when you put him to sleep on the living room couch? Turning to Mama and speaking directly to her. Yeah, and tell it to my wife, Mama. Tomorrow when she has to go out here to look after somebody else's kids, and tell it to me, Mama, every time we need a new pair of curtains and I have to watch you go out and work in somebody's kitchen. Yeah, you tell me then. Walter starts out. Where are you going? I'm going out. Where? Just out of this house somewhere. Getting her coat. I'll come too. I don't want you to come. I got something to talk to you about, Walter. That's too bad. Still quietly. Walter Lee. She waits as he finally turns and looks at her. Sit down. I'm a grown man, Mama. Ain't nobody said you weren't grown, but you still in my house in my presence. And as long as you are, you'll talk to your wife civil. Now sit down. Suddenly. Oh, let him go on out and drink himself to death. He makes me so sick to my stomach. She flings her coat against him and exits to the bedroom, violently flinging the coat after her. And you turn mine too, baby. The door slams behind her. That was my biggest mistake. Still quietly. Walter, what does the matter with you? Matter with me? Ain't nothing the matter with me. Yes, there is. Something eating you up like a crazy man. Something more than me not giving you this money. The past few years I've been watching it happen to you. You got all nervous acting and kind of wild in the eyes. Walter jumps up impatiently at her words. I said sit there now. I'm talking to you. Mama, I don't need no nagging at me today. Seem like you getting a place where you're always tied up in some kind of knot about something, but if anybody asks you about it, you just tell them and bust out a house and go out and drink somewheres. Walter Lee, people can't live with that. Ruth a good, patient girl in her way, but you're getting to be too much, boy. Don't make the mistake of driving the girl away from you. Why, what she do for me? She loves you. Mama, I'm going out. I want to go off somewhere and be by myself for a while. I'm sorry about your liquor store, son. It just wasn't the thing for us to do. That's what I wanted to tell you about. I got to go out, Mama. He raises. It's dangerous, son. What's dangerous? When a man goes out of his house to look for peace, then why can't there never be no peace in this house, then? You done found it in some other house? No, There ain't no woman. Why do women always think there's a woman somewhere where a man gets restless? Picks up the check. Do you know what this money means to me? Do you know what this money can do for us? Puts it back. Mama, Mama, I want so many things. Yes, son. I want so many things and they're driving me kind of crazy. Mama, look at me. I'm looking at you. You're a good-looking boy. You got a job, a nice wife, a fine boy, and a job. Looks at her. Mama, a job? I open and close car doors all day long. I drive a man around in his limousine and I say, yes, sir. No, sir. Very good, sir. Shall I take the drive, sir? Mama, that ain't no kind of job. That ain't nothing at all. Very quietly. Mama, I don't know if I can make you understand. Understand what, baby? Quietly. Sometimes it's like I can see the future stretch out in front of me, just plain as day. The future, Mama, hanging over there at the edge of my days, just waiting for me. A big, looming blank space, full of nothing, just waiting for me. It didn't have to be. Pause, kneeling beside her chair. Mama, sometimes when I'm downtown and I pass them cool, quiet-looking restaurants where the white boys are sitting back and talking about things, sitting there turning deals worth millions of dollars, sometimes I see guys don't look much older than me. Son, how come you talk so much about money? With impulse passion. Because it is life, Mama. Quietly. Oh, very quietly. So now it's life. Money is life. Once upon a time, freedom used to be life. Now it's money. I guess the world really do change. No, it was always money, Mama. We just didn't know about it. No, something has changed. She looks at him. You something new, boy. In my time, we was worried about not getting lynched and getting to the north if we could and how to stay alive and still have a pitch of dignity too. Now here come you and Benicia talking about things we ain't never even thought about, hardly, me and your daddy. You ain't satisfied or proud of nothing we done. I mean that you have a home, that we kept you out of trouble till you was grown, that you don't have to ride to work on a bike of nobody's streetcar. You, my child, but how different we done become. A long beat. He pats her head and gets up. You just don't understand, Mama. You just don't understand. Son, do you know your wife is expecting another baby? Walter stands stunned and absorbs what his mother has said. That's what she wanted to talk to you about. Walter sinks down into a chair. This ain't for me to be telling, but you ought to know. She waits. I think Ruth is thinking about getting rid of that child. Slowly understanding. No, no, Ruth wouldn't do that. When the world gets ugly enough, a woman will do anything for her family. That part that's already living. You don't know Ruth, Mama. If you think she would do that. Ruth opens the bedroom door and stands there a little limp, beaten. Yes, I would too, Walter. Pause. I gave her a $5 down payment. There is total silence as the man stares at his wife and the mother stares at her son. Presently, well, tightly, well, son, I'm waiting to hear you say something. She waits. I'm waiting to hear how you be your father's son, be the man he was. Pause. The silence scowls. Your wife say she's going to destroy your child, and I'm waiting to hear you talk like him and say we a people who give children life, not who destroys them. She rises. I'm waiting to see you stand up and look like your daddy and say we done give up one baby to poverty and that we ain't going to give up nearly another one. I'm waiting. Ruth. He can say nothing. If you a son of mine, tell her. Walter picks up his keys and his coat and walks out. She continues, bitterly. You a disgrace to your father's memory. Somebody get me my hat. Curtain.